Greetings, everyone. I am so thrilled to be your instructor for this upcoming semester. My name is Jacqueline Garcia. I did hyphenate my name through Holy Family. So if you do see my name as Dr. Jacqueline Dana Garcia, Dana was my maiden name. So as we move ahead, you're welcome to call me Dr. Garcia or Jackie, whatever you are comfortable with. So, our course content will leverage ourselves into the whole world of collaboration in special education and assessment in special education. As future special education teachers, you will be required to not only be student centered, but you will also be a collaborator amongst multidisciplinary team members, and you will also be dietitians as well as interventionists in a sense. You will also be required to develop a child's individual education program, which that will be part of our course together, where I will be a coach consultant on the side to guide you and support you in how to develop IEPs for your respective students. So this will all be channeled through the theoretical framework of what we will hear many times is response to intervention and instruction, otherwise known as our multi-tiered disciplinary systematic support system in our school systems. So we will very much embark in the tiers of intervention, which will be a high focus of our time, of a primary tier, in other words, what is happening to support students within a general ed setting, followed by our secondary tier of support, which we hope that when we see students struggle, we'll take them in small groups and provide evidence-based interventions. And that usually is comprised of 20%, 15 to 20% of our students. If we find through progress monitoring and careful assessments that those students are not progressing or responding to that intervention, then a tertiary level of intervention will ensue. That will then determine if that child would be eligible to receive a multidisciplinary and comprehensive evaluation from a school psychologist. So I find myself, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but I wanted to provide you some language, vocabulary that we will be using as we work together this semester. Before we begin, I want you to know that I am both an educator. I'm in the field, so to speak. I'm a third grade teacher. I have served in several roles within my school district, and I tether myself to social emotional learning, that we are human first. We need to very much reach the heart of our students before we can fully demand them to learn and optimize their learning as much as possible. I do want to empower you to become your own advocates as well and leaders. And As an instructor for many years at Holy Family, I would often lay very, I would say, structured parameters. Um, but I've been finding that an acronym that I use throughout my workshops, throughout my classes, of the R2D2 reminder. And this connotes that while we are together, we are reflective in our learning. We want to be respectful of each other's time and voices. And I do appreciate that you will be respectful participants and also active listeners to others in our group. As we look ahead and as we do meet together, we will have 21 of us each week. So I will, and I actually, I think a strength of my teaching style is that I do make a priority that our time is maximized as much as possible, and that I can model for you some teaching strategies through different classroom exercises to keep us moving along. And I often get feedback from many of my students that, wow, the time just flew by because we were engaged. So I hope that is off to what you'll walk away with as well. And we do expect you, of course, to be prepared for each class through our readings and through just your materials of what we will bring to each class, which includes your course texts. I do ask that if you miss a class, that you either text me or email me as soon as possible. And then you can also make another arrangements with another classmate to obtain missed handouts. This is often a helpful strategy for students that maybe designate a buddy and you can talk to each other for the notes and handouts. With that said, attendance and participation are vital to the learning and to be acquired during this course. So I do request that you contribute your ideas to class discussion and different activities along the way. This is your chance to shine, and I want you to feel comfortable enough to provide some of your background and grow as both learners and educators through this course. So we will be meeting in person from 5 to 8. Yes, that is a chunk of time, 3 hours. And as we come together for our first in-person class, hopefully next Monday, I will ask of you to come up with norms and expectations that you may have for our time together. That includes breaks, different strategies, and as I was reviewing your learning profiles, that includes what would help you learn best during our time. Mostly over my time at Holy Family, if we do have a 3-hour in-person course, I may devote that last 30 minutes to asynchronous work where you're welcome to stay in our classroom and I would be there to field any questions. Or of course, you would be welcome to leave and work on your own during that time. So just giving you some perspective that we will structure this time to be as flexible and engaging as possible. As you have seen, my email includes your textbooks for this course. Spinelli's Classroom Assessment for Students in Special and General Education. And I appreciate this course text for several reasons. One includes that this does give a comprehensive uh, pathway to what you would expect pragmatically as a teacher through that multi-tiered systematic level of support. And also Bateman's How to Develop Legally Correct and Educational Useful Programs is an excellent text. And I have found that many of teachers will keep this book on hand as they enter the world of special education. It's a great resource as you plan and prepare for IEPs and special education. I'd like to highlight some of your assignments, which will mostly be completed during class time, because I'd like to be there while you work through and process these assignments. But of course, you're welcome to work on these beyond our classroom time as well. The application into real life scenarios is the vision, that's the goal. So, your self assessment was something that you did complete on your Canvas from last week. Your IEP review will be something that I will highlight and provide instruction for, but you will be able to analyze and evaluate an individual education program, which I will provide. Or if you are currently working in a setting that you could get your hands on an IEP, that would be suitable as well, with, of course, confidentiality in mind. Then from there, after your analysis, you will then rewrite your own IEP to have that practice. And of course, I will walk you through as we navigate through developing goals and benchmarks and specially designed instruction. And I will help you with all the components of that IEP. The IEP, of course, will be comprised of your present levels of performance, and I will show you how to accrue that for your students. And in a way, you can think of that as the foundation of how to develop your goals and objectives. So that will also be part of your course requirements. In light of best practices, I would also provide you with a choice for an assignment which would require you to take a look at assessment data and analyze that data and plan around that data. So you will have a choice between providing a functional behavioral analysis or creating a system for monitoring student progress. I will help you and delve deeper into these two assignments when we meet next week. Your attendance and participation is accounted for. Your presence and your preparation, as I highlighted earlier, is essential to your success in this course. And we hope that you, of course, will stay on time and be as present as possible. And to underscore that human dimension, I understand that you may have personal emergencies or matters that may come up. I just expect you to arrive to our class as the best version of yourself each week. And then a final exam, which will be open book, so please do not have a high level of anxiety around that, will be provided and administered at the end of our time together, just as for you mainly to self-evaluate your own learning. Our time together for your weeks, we have our topics and then your readings. You will find your syllabus accessible through your Canvas. And as you look at through week by week, you will also see your assignments for readings. Then you'll also see the progress monitoring, our topics that we will anchor in and delve deeper into each week. And I think you will find that this course in particular is going to be highly pragmatic and applicable to your future endeavors as a special education teacher. So, that overall is an overview of what we will be embarking upon this semester together. And stay tuned for an additional overview of some other pieces and components of your response and intervention framework. And I also like to share with you a framework that I developed over the course of my career to very much streamline what we do on a daily basis as educators, and mainly is to keep the child in the center. What we do is first and foremost develop our programming around the needs of the child. So as we look ahead, I want us to look through those two lenses: the child, capturing the whole learner, collecting data around that child's learning, and that may include their social emotional, not so much just purely academics, but behavioral. And that's what we're going to look at as uh, data practitioners. I think you'll find that exciting. I don't want it to be so daunting for you that it's overwhelming, but I will break it down for you on how to best meet the needs of your lucky students that you'll be working with. And in reviewing your backgrounds, I'm very excited that most of you stated that you love to learn and are looking forward to our time, and I am as well. So I hope you are staying safe and warm, and thank you for taking the time to review my overview of your collaboration and assessment course.